He's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick. Harvick.
Checkered flag. Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500. Here they come.
Harvick. It's Harvick. He got him. He timed it perfect. He's out of fuel. He's out of gas.
And as at Indy, the leader at turn 4 does not get to the flag. Harvick, the closer, wins it.
Once again, where did he come from?
2001 Rookie of the Year, 121 wins, 3 championships, named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers, Kevin Harvick. Grab yourself an ice cold Pepsi. I'll be your host Darkzy, and this is Dogleg Media. Harvick would make his first NASCAR start in his hometown of Bakersfield, California in 1995 in the Craftsman Truck Series, finishing 27th. After 5 years of steadily improving, he would catch a big break, being signed to drive the number 2 RCR Chevrolet in the former NASCAR Busch Series at the beginning of the 2000 season, and would go on to win 3 times and finish 3rd in the overall points standings in his first full-time season for the team. Heading into the 2001 season, Kevin Harvick would be vaulted into the NASCAR Cup Series at just the age of 25, following the biggest tragedy in all of sports history. In the final corner on the final lap of the Daytona 500, 7-time champion Dale Earnhardt, arguably NASCAR's greatest driver of all time, would hit the wall head-on, passing away on impact at only 49 years old. Team owner Richard Childress, having multi-million-dollar sponsor obligations, has to put another driver in their flagship car the following week at Rockingham. Harvick, in a renumbered 29 car, would wheel a new white and red Goodwrench Chevrolet to finish 14th in his Cup Series debut. Nothing to be upset about in your first start, but he had big shoes to fill. Following the race at Rockingham, he would go on to finish 8th at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and then just his 3rd Cup start, Kevin Harvick would beat 4-time champion Jeff Gordon to the line by mere inches, claiming his first NASCAR Cup Series win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And even crazier than that, he did it in identical fashion to how Dale Earnhardt Sr. won the race the year before over 2000 champion Bobby Labonte. Harvick would then go on to do his own rendition of Alan Kulwicki's famous Polish victory lap, holding up the number 3 in honor of Dale Earnhardt, who had only lost his life 3 weeks before. Harvick wasn't finished there. Just 14 races later, he'd go on to claim his 2nd win of the season at Chicagoland. Despite missing the Daytona 500, Kevin Harvick would finish 9th in points, with 16 top 10s, 6 top 5s, and only 54 points behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., while also winning Rookie of the Year over future Cup champion Kurt Busch. Speaking of Bushes, Harvick would also have to compete in the NASCAR Busch Series at the same time as the Cup Series. As before the tragedy at Daytona, Harvick had already fully committed to running the entire Busch Series schedule. With Harvick's own sponsorship obligations to fill, he had to simultaneously run the Busch Series and the Cup Series at the same time. This meaning, Harvick would have to compete in 67 events in the year of 2001. While winning 2 races in the NASCAR Cup Series, Harvick would also go on to win 5 races in the NASCAR Busch Series, claiming the 2001 Busch Series title. After a great 2001, Harvick would hit a slump in his sophomore season, depleting in almost every category across the board, and finishing outside the top 20 at the end of the season's points. While Harvick did go on to win his 2nd straight race at Chicagoland, he would finish outside the top 20 over 20 times in the 2002 season. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of 20s. Well, the 2002 championship went to the number 20 car.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
2002 was all doom and gloom. 2003 wouldn't be so bad for Kevin Harvick, having a rebound year, getting another 16 top 10s, including a 3-race stretch where he got 3 second-place finishes at Michigan, Bristol, and Darlington. Harv would also accumulate 10 top 5s in the 2003 season,
and also getting his first crown jewel win at the Brickyard 400.
finishing 5th in points. Between 2004 and 2005, Harvick would be the cover driver of the greatest NASCAR game of all time, NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, but would only collect a lone win in 2005 at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'd also like to use this portion of the video to tell you a fun fact. Heading into the 2004 season, Kevin Harvick was supposed to switch from the number 29 to the number 3 car to commemorate Dale Earnhardt. It even got as far into process that there was die-cast made of Harvick in the 3 car. As of why this never happened, I'm not sure, but I sure am glad considering 29 is my favorite number, and mainly because I grew up watching Kevin Harvick race it. Team owner Richard Childress would wait over 10 years to bring back the number 3 car for his grandson Austin Dillon, who still drives it in the Cup Series as of today. In 2006, Harvick would have his long-awaited breakout season, finishing 4th in the point standings with 5 wins, 15 top 5s, 20 top 10s, an average finish of 12.25, and almost 900 laps led. 2 of Harvick's wins this season would come at Phoenix, 1 at Watkins Glen, 1 at Richmond, and 1 at my home track, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick would open the 2007 season with a bang, and a nail-biting finish. Harvick would drag race Mark Martin to the finish line, beating him by half a car length. As the rest of the field behind them were caught in a crash, some cars on fire, and
One car, his roof coming across the start-finish line.
unfortunately for Harvick, this would be his only win for the next 3 seasons until 2010. The name of Harvick's game during this time was, could he be consistent enough? He had finished 10th in points in 2007, with the highlight being his first and only Daytona 500 win. In 2008, he would finish 4th in points despite not being able to capture the flag for his first winless season since 2004. Harvick was just deadly consistent, with 7 top 5s, 19 top 10s, and an average finish of just over 12. He would lead only 192 laps, but would have only finished worse than 30th a handful of times. 2009 would not be as nice to Harvick, as he would finish a dismal 19th in points with not very good stats, an average finish of about 20th and less than 160 laps led on the season. He was going to need a major change heading into the next decade. Lucky for him, he would get it. In the 2010 season, he would start off with 2 second-place finishes in the first 3 races, then would claim 2 superspeedway wins, Talladega first, and then the Daytona night race in July. To show his superspeedway wins weren't a fluke, Harv would beat out Denny Hamlin on pure speed at Michigan only a few weeks later, capping off the year with 3 wins, a staggering 16 top 5s, and 26 top 10s, with an average finish of 8.7. But he wouldn't stop there. Harvick would continue his success, winning back-to-back races at Fontana and Martinsville to start off the 2011 season. At Fontana, Kevin Harvick would beat Jimmy Johnson to the line, passing him through the final corner of the final lap. And just 6 weeks later, he would get his 3rd win at Charlotte Motor Speedway, well before the halfway mark of the season. Unfortunately, it would slow down here, but Harvick would win at Richmond and once again finish 3rd in points for the 2nd year in a row. And it's hard to mention Harvick's 2011 season without mentioning his feud with Kyle Busch. Harvick had intentionally wrecked Busch at the 2010 Ford 400 at Homestead. After his 2nd run-in in less than a year, Busch would not be so nice, and he would turn Harvick at Darlington. Harvick would have a pretty uneventful 2012, going winless in the regular season, but making the chase on consistency. However, he would go on to win at his best track, and that being Phoenix Raceway. He'd go on to finish 8th in points in the 2012 season. Harvick announced that at the end of the 2013 season he would depart from RCR after 12 years and join Stewart-Haas Racing. In his 2013 season, he would get his first pole since September 2006, coming at Kansas Speedway. He would also win his 2nd Coca-Cola 600, and once again win at both Richmond and Phoenix. Harvick would finish 10th at his last ever race with RCR, and ending the 2013 season with 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 21 top 10s, and 1 pole. Heading over to SHR in the 2014 season, Harvick would switch over to drive the number 4 car, with longtime sponsor Budweiser following. And then just his 2nd race of the 2014 season, Harvick would once again win at Phoenix, leading 224 of the 312 laps, claiming his first win with Stewart-Haas Racing. He would also claim another crown jewel win, passing Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the final lap at the Southern 500 at Darlington. With 2 wins, Harvick would easily make it into the playoffs. With the new 2014 win-in-you're-in format, Harvick would get his 3rd win of the season coming at Charlotte, guaranteeing that he'd make the next round of the playoffs. And I'd also like to mention Texas this season because Harvick started a fight on pit road between Brad Keselowski and Jeff Gordon, and I personally think that it's just hilarious. And of course, the next time they would come to Phoenix, Harvick would win, sweeping the Phoenix races in 2014. This win guaranteeing him into the final round of the chase. One race winner takes all at Homestead. Harvick would battle Jeff Gordon for most of the day, but it would be Ryan Newman that he'd have to hold off. And I actually failed to mention this earlier, but Harvick took over Ryan Newman's previous ride from the year before. Newman couldn't close in enough, and Harvick would claim the 2014 NASCAR Cup Series championship in his first year with Storehouse Racing. Now driving the number 4 Budweiser car, Harvick would reign supreme over the rest of the competition. And in 2015, Harvick would claim 3 wins and come second in the championship standings. Unfortunately though, in the 2016 season, Harvick would not make the championship 4 and would finish 8th in the standings, still capturing 4 wins. An amazing highlight of his season would be beating Carl Edwards in the closest finish ever at Phoenix. Heading into the 2017 season, Storehouse Racing would switch from Chevrolet to Ford. Although this would slow Harvick down a little bit at the beginning of the season, he would still capture 2 wins coming at Sonoma and Texas, and finishing 3rd in the overall standings at the end of the season. The opposite of his start in the 2017 season would happen for 2018. He would go on to win 3 of the first 4 races, and then just 6 races later he would win back-to-back races at Dover and Kansas, and he would go on to win 3 more times at New Hampshire, Michigan, and Texas. Unfortunately for Harvick, he would finish 3rd again in the points standings for the 2nd year in a row, and at this point, it's comedic. For the 6th time in his career and the 3rd year in a row, Harvick would finish 3rd in points in 2019, capturing 4 wins on the season. I'd also like to show you just how eerily similar Kevin Harvick's stats in the last 3 races and these 3 seasons were. Harvick would have another career high year in 2020, winning 9 races, and a year we all thought Harvick was going to win the championship. Unfortunately though, after an abysmal Martinsville race, Harvick would miss out at the round of 4, making a last-ditch effort on Kyle Busch trying to make it in. Unfortunately for Harvick, he would fall victim to a gimmicky point system and finish 5th in points. All of us expected Harvick to have a similar season in 2021. Claiming 9 wins in 2020 was hard enough, but none of us expected Harvick to go winless the next season. Ironically, even though he would get 9 less wins, he would finish 5th in the point standings for the 2nd year in a row, showing just how gimmicky the current playoff system is. In the 2022 season, Harvick would claim his last 2 Cup victories ever, coming in back-to-back races at Michigan and Richmond, but would come 15th in points, the 3rd worst points finish in his career. At the beginning of the 2023 season, Harvick would announce his retirement
and announced that he would join the Fox Sports booth in 2024, where he now resides.
Harvick would finish 2nd at Darlington, in a now mid-pack SHR car, a former shadow of what they were 10 years prior. Harvick would finish 2 spots better than the prior year, 13th in points. Harvick never lost the talent. Unfortunately, he was just a victim
Crappy parts on the race car.
at the end of his career. Harvick will easily be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the near future, finishing his career with 60 Cup wins, 444 top 10s, 31 poles, and a championship. So in the Xfinity Series, formerly the Busch Series and Nationwide Series, he would claim 47 wins, 2 championships, 261 top 10s, and 25 poles. And in the NASCAR Truck Series, he would claim 14 wins, 62 top 10s, and 4 poles. Harvick is 10th all-time on the wins list, only 3 wins behind former rival Kyle Busch. And ironically, as of the 2023 season, Kyle Busch took over the number 8 car at Richard Childress Racing. They say if you watch NASCAR long enough, everything always comes full circle. And that'll do it for the great story of Kevin Harvick on this week's Dogleg Media. First, I'd like to thank Matt for letting me use his channel. I'd also like to thank Nino and Dice for their help behind the scenes. Please leave your feedback in the comments below, as this is my first ever YouTube video. I worked really hard on it and I spent over 20 hours editing. If you guys don't know me prior to this video, I'm the thumbnail designer for Matt, and I do most of the graphics for his videos. I'd love to be on the channel again. I'm Darkzy, and this is Dogleg Media.
Up, wheels off again, here he comes.
He says, okay, this is I'm going back here and we're going to have a little talk. And there goes his car. That car just took off.
Roger that, Alvin! Look out! Whoa! Feels like I'm back at the racetrack.